Hey everybody, it's Shine Sprite Ditto welcoming you back for more Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time. In the last part, we did a lot. We got the Ocarina of Time, played the Song of Time inside the Temple of Time, and we awoke as the Hero of Time after grabbing the Master Sword, learning that Ganondorf has obtained the Triforce and taken over Hyrule, where we were sealed inside the Sacred Realm for 7 years. But now that we are old enough to be the Hero of Time, we can search out for the 5 sages hidden in the temples and have a chance of fighting out against Ganondorf. Now in this part, we were told to go to Kakariko Village, and we're going to be doing that in some way. But let us take our first steps, and things are already dastardly. This is nothing like the Hyrule we left, and we've only taken one step outside. We are in the destroyed Hyrule Market. There is nothing but redeads and their screams. We can see that our Master Sword is twice as powerful as the Kakiri Sword, but man, these things don't even get less creepy with age. They're still terrifying even though we're an adult now. We gotta get out of here. But we can see that Hyrule Castle Town and Hyrule itself is just completely destroyed, revamped with Ganondorf's minions and evil influence. Hello. Hoo-hoo! You are quite an energetic young man. You're brave and handsome, too. Your name is Link, isn't it? Don't be surprised, I can read people's minds. If I looked as good as you, I could run a different kind of business. My shop is the only ghost shop in Hyrule. Because of the great Ganondorf, it is a fine time for a business like this. Oh, I can only hope the world gets even worse. The ghosts, called Pose, are spirits of concentrated hatred that appear in the fields and graveyard. They hate the world. They're just like me, for real. Young man, if you catch a Poe, I will pay a lot of money for it. So this guy, the Poe salesman, there are 10 Poes now that are big, that are spread across Hyrule. We can't exactly target them yet, and I will go ahead and show off that, what I mean by that when we actually step out inside of Hyrule Field, but I'll go ahead and show you actually. Even the bridge is destroyed, so there goes our money-making tactic. When we step out here, we can see, if we just move a little bit forward... Do I have to head back this way? Well, anyway, I thought I could show it off, but whenever you run into a ghost in Hyrule Field, there are 10 of them, and their spirits, after we defeat them, which we've kind of seen a little bit of in Kakariko's graveyard when we were a kid, we can harvest their soul inside of an empty bottle. We can take that empty bottle and sell it to the Pose salesman, and he will give us points. Once we get 10 points, we will get an... I don't know if I'll spoil, but we'll get a reward for getting all 10 Pose around Hyrule Field. Now, because this doesn't have the pinpoint, smooth, excellent aiming, as in Breath of the Wild, Tears of the Kingdom, and other modern Zelda games, even the 3DS version, this is very difficult. Now, what do I mean by modern aiming? Well, you'll see, but as for now, there is no way that we can actually kill the big Pose. We can only kill the small ones. They're in the same spot, however, we need something to activate whenever we run into the small Pose in the same areas to make them big instead of small, but we have no way of doing that as of right now. And I also will not be doing this for quite a long time because I think it is actually the most annoying thing in the entire game. Also, we will see that the Boomerang, Slingshot, Deku Stick, and Magic Beans are no longer of use to us. And if we were to have a mask from the Mask Salesman, which, for those of you who are wondering, yes, after you have that cutscene with Ganondorf and Zelda, you can actually go to the mask shop and get the next mask. However, I did not want to interrupt the most important part of the game by going to get a mask, but we are not locked out of it. We can go get it, and I will be dedicating an entire part to showing what that mask does. I just did not want to disrupt this. But yeah, a lot of our items from a kid are no longer usable. Thankfully, we're still able to use the most useful item in the game, the Deku Nuts. Obviously, we can use the Ocarina of Time, a much bigger ocarina. And now we have the bombs. You know, we could still use those, and bomb shoes as well as the empty bottles, and Dense Fire and Furor's Wind. Not that we've even used Furor's Wind or even Dense Fire at all. But yeah, that's basically our current arsenal. We are kind of more limited than we were as a child, so that's why we need to make our way to Kakariko Village. You can also see that at nighttime, there are no longer the Stelphos, or that is a completely different enemy in this game that we haven't seen yet, but will shortly. The stalled children that would come out at nighttime in Hyrule Field are no longer here. But of course, one of the things we're going to want to see after so many parts of the game... Oh, there we go. I had to do my ZR trick just to get it to work, but because the control stick is just so much fun. We want it to be daytime, and we're going to see what has changed about Lon Lon Ranch. I know, this is not the place that that Shiek fella told us to go to, but I want to check it out, because I think there might be something important here. Let's see what all has changed within 7 years. It doesn't look like much so far, but... Milan, you've certainly grown. Oh, a visitor. It's been a long time since we've had a visitor here. Where did you come from? Since Ganondorf came, people in the castle town have gone. Places have been ruined, and monsters are wandering everywhere. Mr. Ingo is just using the ranch to gain Ganondorf's favor. Everyone seems to be turning evil. But Dad, he was kicked out of the ranch by Mr. Ingo. If I disobey Mr. Ingo, he will treat the horses so badly. So, there's nothing I can do. Aww. Poor Milan. And Ingo was that guy that was in here complaining about Talon being lazy. Well, I'm gonna go have a word with him. Ouch. And yeah, Talon's completely gone from where he was when we were a kid. Something I did want to point out that I did not do when we were here the first time is that if we come in here, this is actually Milan's room and where she sleeps. Now, that's kind of creepy that we just walked in here, but I do actually want to talk about the 3DS version. If you were to come here in the 3DS version, you can actually find a plushie of Ganondorf's horse that he rides inside this room. And I believe this is also where one of the 3 hidden Skyward Sword posters are. Because Ocarina of Time 3D came out before Skyward Sword did on the Wii. And as a result, in that game, you could find 3 hidden posters showing artwork from Skyward Sword. But obviously, that is not in this game that came out like 20 years before. But it is really cool. If I'm correct about that, I will actually show that on screen when I'm talking about it, so you would have already seen it. But Ingo! You! There are some people in Kakariko spreading rumors that I cheated Talon out of this ranch, but don't be ridiculous. That guy Talon was weak. I, the hardworking Ingo, poured so much energy into this place. I don't want any strangers like you saying anything bad about me. Listen, the great Ganondorf recognized my obvious talents and gave the ranch to me. I will raise a fine horse, and win recognition from the great Ganondorf. Say, young man, do you want to ride one of my fine horses? Pay me 10 rupees and you can ride. Sure, we'll ride one of the horses. That sounds like fun. Do you want to hear how to ride? Listen, approach the horse quietly. Yeah, we got it. So, this is the horse that he has offered us to ride. But I'm not really feeling this one. I mean, we've already been here before, whenever we visited Milan when we were a kid, and we've already made friends with the horse. Let's play Epona's song to show her that we still care about her. And when we play Epona's song, you may have been wondering what that would be used for, but Epona recognizes us and comes running. And now we can use Epona as our horse. Have I seen you somewhere before? Are you ready to go home? No, I want to ride. When our time is up, I'll kick you out of here. Well, you sure are pleasant. We press A to climb on top, and we use the control stick to walk around. These carrots measure the stamina of Epona. Whenever you press A, a carrot will be used, but she will start running faster. If we are running really fast when approaching a fence, she will just automatically jump over said fence, like that. If we jump over both these fences, we can actually get our money back, and if we press back on the control stick, she will stop in her tracks. Whoa, we are actually getting really low on time. So now that we have about 10 seconds left... Hello. When you want to dismount, have I seen you somewhere before? GZ. Hello. So this is really weird. We want to tell him that we're done, I guess. Sometimes, I don't know, it's really weird what determines this, but we're gonna ride the horse again. And of course, we're not going to want to use the horse that he gives us, because his horse, quite frankly, sucks. You'll actually notice that there is a difference between the horse that he gives us and the horse that we have, Epona. Epona, because you can ride that other horse, but Epona is actually a lot faster, and you will see an example of that, and we'll get into that here in a minute, why that makes such a big difference. Because you might be thinking right now that this is kind of useless, but let us speak to Ingo once again. He says we're getting pretty good at it. I accidentally skipped that because I pressed B. Let's make a little wager, say 50 rupees? Sure, why not? I'm going to focus on this. You want to start holding up on the control stick before it even begins, and you'll start running. Obviously, you want to try to stay as close to the fence as possible. I don't recommend you go below 3 carrots. And you try to maintain that pace. But now that we're doing this race, and once you start to get about halfway through it, just start spamming all your carrots and we win by a mile. Shoot! If the great Ganondorf found out about this humiliation, hey you, how about another race? If you win, you can keep the horse! Well, that sounds like a deal to me. Now, Inga will actually be faster during the second race. Now, this is why it's important for you to have Epona. You can actually win the first race with the horse that he gives you. However, that horse is actually too slow to win the second race. You can actually see that he's a... And he won. But yeah, he is a little bit faster with this race. That horse he gives you can win the first one, but it is actually impossible for you to win the second one with the horse he gives you. I am going to just keep doing this until I win. Yeah! Finally! Let's just say I made Ingo a very rich man within that time frame. Oh my god. What's up with that horse? Is that Epona? How did you tame that wild horse right under my nose? I was going to present that horse to the great Ganondorf, but I bet it on the race and lost. Shoot! What, you can abuse horses, but you can't go back on a bet? Alright. As I promised, I'll give you the horse. However, I'll never let you leave this ranch. Not a problem with me. I'll just settle down, marry Milan, and be on my way. But yes, Epona's the only horse fast enough to actually beat Ingo. Navi has something to say. Are we able to get off the horse? No, we're not actually able to get off the horse. But as I said, when Epona is running, she can jump over fences and... we now have a horse of our own. You can't swing your sword or do combat in any sort of... Hey, there's one of the big poses I was talking about! And you can see how quickly it disappeared and how off-putting our angle was. You can run into them, but that's going to be unbelievably hard, and you might as well wait. You can see that there's a slot for our B button, but there's nothing that we can actually equip to our B button while riding a horse at this point in time. Epona can run through grass, she can jump over fences, and honestly just traverse Hyrule a lot faster. Yeah, but now Epona is ours, and we are safe to roam Hyrule while on a horse. And I just want to say, the horse controls are actually really good for Nintendo 64, and I somehow think that they are better than controlling the horses in, say, Breath of the Wild or Tears of the Kingdom. I find them to be very slippery in that game, but no, tight, precise, riding on Epona is very fun and quick and actually useful. Of course, we cannot take Epona into areas such as Kakariko Village or, say, Zora's Domain or Kokiri Forest. But it is very good for traversing Hyrule very quickly. Way better than walking. And so, we were told to come to Kakariko Village. So let us do just that. And see how much has changed here. Well, would you look at that? It's the same, except the soldiers are gone. Which is honestly kind of a nice detail. And oh, hey! It's the people from Hyrule Castle Market. Wahahaha! Look at this guy. Ever since he escaped from Hyrule Castle Town, he's become even more timid. I tell you, I saw him. I saw the ghostly figure of Dompe the Gravekeeper sinking into his grave. Oh, it looked like he was holding some kind of treasure. Well, it seems that Dompe, from when we were kids, passed away sometime between then and now. And hello. A long time ago, there was a man in this very village who had an eye they said could see the truth. Now, usually you have to train your mind's eye most strenuously to actually see the truth. But this fella, no, they say he had a different way of doing things. His house stood where the well is now. And his name was Yunorakami as he seeked the truth. No. But we can see that the people that were in Castletown Market, or at least a majority of them, made their way to Kakariko Village, and also that this house actually did get built. It looks like it's another shooting range, just what Kakariko Village needed. Okay, so yeah, honestly though, now there's more people than there are buildings in this village. I wonder where they all live. Although I guess they just kind of stay outside, maybe? Hello. And it's the woman that would sell us stuff? No, the woman that we could sell stuff to. This Death Mountain gate guard is gone. That's kind of sad to think that all the Hyrule Castle guards are gone from a war within Hyrule Castle Town, and that the man who loved his son so dearly to get him that mask is no longer with us. It's kind of a dark thought, but it really highlights how dark Hyrule is now, with Ganondorf in control, but at least the people of Kakariko Village are safe. Hello. I bred a new type of miniature cuckoo. I call it the pocket cuckoo. I don't get goosebumps from this baby. Cuckoos are very good at getting lazy, late risers out of bed. Haven't you heard of them before? It makes them very happy to crow, cuckoo! Especially when it wakes up a very heavy sleeper. However, my cuckoo is not entirely happy right now. You look like you're good at handling cuckoos. Here, take this egg. After the cuckoo hatches, bring it back to me after a while, and I'll check out its mood. What do you think? We try? No! This is actually the start of a very long quest that we don't have access to all of it, and we will be doing it at a much later point. I do want to check out the windmill, but I will be doing that in a little bit. But for now, let us head to Kakariko Village. Well, the graveyard in Kakariko Village. We're already in the village. And we will see that there are now Poes that are just in the graveyard. We don't need to push graves for them anymore. And that Dompe is, well, he's no longer with us, as we heard. He is gone. But also that the bean has sprouted and it will elevate us up. The beans that we planted now have beanstalks that we can ride somewhere. And we can ride up here to get a heart piece. And I think, yeah, that is our first one of a new container. We can actually... That is not what I meant to do. We can actually see that there's a section of the graveyard up there that we haven't been to. So at some point, we'll have to check out what that's about, if we find a way to do so. What happens if we go to Dompe's shack? Oh, we can enter the sacred ground. Hello. The Gravekeeper's diary is here. Do you want to read it? Of course, I'm nosy. Whoever reads this, please enter my grave. I will let you have my shrinking keepsake. I'm waiting for you, Dompe. Could this keepsake perhaps be the item that is needed that Shiek has told us about? And we can actually see that there is a new gravestone that has grass in front of it, which means that we can pull it across. Now, what lies beneath us here but Dompe himself? Young man, are you fast on your feet? I may not look it, but I'm confident in my speed. Let's have a race. Follow me if you dare. So, yes, this is going to be just a simple thing of Dompe laying out fire, and we are going to be chasing him and not being hit by the fire. I do want to say that if you can, try your best to beat Dompe within a minute of the time limit. It can be pretty tricky on your first time, not knowing the pattern. Of course, I obviously know the pattern. I've played this game a lot. One man should never have played Ocarina of Time as much as I have. And here I am doing it again. But, yeah, we're just going to follow Dompe. We do get a reward for running into his fire. But we actually get a reward if we can somehow do this in less than a minute. I think I've definitely butchered being able to. There is enough room for you to mess up, so if you run into the fire, don't immediately think that you didn't get it. But yeah, this is actually the last room. I definitely didn't get it with that. I'm holding the control stick in a very weird way. But yeah, minute 3 seconds. I did not get it, but I will be back here. The time of this race was 1:03. Young man, you were very quick to be able to keep up with me. As a reward, I'm going to give you my treasure. It's called the hook shot. Its spring-loaded chain will pull you to any spot where its hook sticks. Doesn't that sound cool? I'm sure it will help you. I live here now, so come back again sometime. I'll give you something cool. One more thing, be careful on your way back. Yes, no matter what, as long as we've made it to the end, we will get this, but there's another reward that we can get for being less than a minute. But now we have the hook shot. This is indeed the item that was necessary to enter the Forest Temple. You found the hook shot! It's a spring-loaded chain that can cast out to hook things. You can use it to drag distant items toward you, or you can use it to... You know, I've actually never, ever used the hook shot for that. I might try to use it in this playthrough. I know it's a lot more useful in the 2D Zelda games, and I use it all the time there, but yeah, no, not so much here. We also have our introduction here of... Hey, isn't that the same design that's on the Door of Time? Yes, Door of Time blocks, because they had to keep giving you use to these songs after the first time you use it. Just simply playing the Song of Time will allow them to be removed. I think this is a really annoying puzzle because it doesn't really do much for you. I mean, it's just, you know what to do every time you see it. You'll see it again. It's just to give the Song of Time use for some reason. And, whoa! We're in the windmill, and he looks very, very angry. But if you remember, we actually saw this area when we were a kid, but we had no way of getting up here. But it turns out Dompe's grave, which has apparently been there the whole time, even though he just now died and that area was... Anyway, we got our heart piece that's been taunting us for 7 years. And let's see why he is so angry. He said he was looking for a song for the windmill when we came here as a kid. Grrr! I'll never forget what happened on that day 7 years ago. That's when we got sealed inside the Temple of Time. It's all that Ocarina kid's fault. Next time he comes around here, I'm gonna mess him up. Well, I have an ocarina. What happened? What? You've got an ocarina! What the heck? That reminds me of that time 7 years ago. Back then, a mean kid came here and played a strange song. It messed up this windmill. Now, time for the best ocarina song. You've learned the Song of Storms, the best Ocarina song in the game. Oh no, a storm again! You played the Ocarina again, didn't you? Grrr. And now we can see that it's spinning hella fast. Well, I don't know what he expected. We did find a song, the Song of Storms, that fits the windmill. I don't get what his problem is. I think it's a perfect song for the windmill. But it's no longer raining when we're here, but if we play the Song of Storms, we can actually cause it to start raining. This song is going to have a lot of purposes in the game that may not be as straightforward to you as you expect when we first get it. It is my favorite Ocarina song, and he said that a kid with an Ocarina played it 7 years ago. I mean, if we were able to somehow become a kid again, we would definitely do that to see what would happen when we did it as a kid, but I guess we don't have a way of reversing time. It's kind of sad when you start to think of it in a real world context. But anyway, I'm going to try to do Dampé's race until I get less than a minute. A lot of cutting in this part because there's a lot of challenges that revolved around me being timed, and I am bad at all of them. Ooh, exactly 1 minute. Did I get it? Did I get it? The time of this race was 1 minute. Your back, young man, was present. I gave it to you useful. Yes! It was just in time. We got a heart piece. We've already collected 3 pieces in this part. Holy crap. Anyways, that's it for this part. We got the hook shot, did a lot of quests while on our way, and yeah, I'm up to 40 minutes of recording time. Oh boy, alright. Well, next time on The Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time, we will actually go out in search of the Forest Temple. I'll see you guys then.